Hello, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Lauren, and this is Chicago Reacts. Today, we are doing part 2 of every single faction in Warhammer 40k. We got through a couple of the Space Marines and the infantry people last time, so this time we're going to get started with the Adeptus Mechanicus. I imagine these are sort of Iron Man type monstrosities that we're about to see. But before we get into that, I just want to thank you so much for tuning in again. Please make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe to this channel, to other channels, to watch everybody else. We really, really do appreciate it. And we really like the interaction to actually get to, I like to see what people have to say about the factions when they answer my questions. I really appreciate that, and it does help me understand some more of these videos. And it kind of helps me like figure out if I would like to play some of these games, which I'm always a little bit hesitant to kind of get into it, especially when the lore seems to be as deep as it is, especially when you are as bad at video games as I am. So in any way, this is going to be an interesting one. We're going to be going for a slightly shorter amount of time, I think, this time, but then we are going to have a part 3 of this section as well. So I'm looking forward to all of that, and we shall continue on in just a moment. Still having a few technical difficulties with some connection issues, so apologies once again for any hesitancy and slow transitions. Appreciate you sticking around for me. So without further ado now, let us get in to the part 2 of every single Warhammer 40k faction explained. We are going to start with the Adeptus Mechanicus.
People are afraid of technology.
We'll start a little bit behind and then keep going.
It is extremely strong. If you are actually getting into the tabletop of Warhammer, Space Marines are a great start. Also, whatever gameplay style you have, whether you want to be sit back with long range and heavy weaponry, go fast and run in, or even just full melee, all of these options are totally there for you. Space Marines are super badass, but unfortunately, it's time we start praying to our new god, the 2011 Honda Civic.
So is it any wonder people are afraid of technology?
The Adeptus Mechanicus.
Speaking of technology, as mine isn't working.
Adeptus Mechanicus are a technophile cult on Mars. Now, these people are a little bit weird because they don't actually really believe in the Emperor of Mankind. And you might think, oh, whoa, Bricky, that sounds like some heresy.
It does sound like heresy.
Bit. They believe in the Emperor, they believe in his power, but they don't pray to him. They pray to something called the Omnissiah. And the Omnissiah is this kind of machine god that they believe permeates in all machines. And if you think, well, wait a minute, they believe in a different god as well? That sounds like super heresy. Well, yes-ish, but they also make all your guns, and they make all your tanks, and they make everything that you have, so you can't really tell them to fuck off, because you're not gonna win nothing if you don't got stuff to shoot people with. See, their Omnissiah at least makes sense from their standpoint. They believe it to be a deity that permeates through all machines. Your Honda Civic, your standard bolt gun, your Dune Strider Walker, your giant mechs, your huge ships. The Omnissiah is present through all. And the only reason your stuff works is because the machine's spirit in it says it works. If you want your gun to work, your tank to...
So I should pray to the Omnissiah to get my Stream Deck working again, is what I'm hearing from all of this?
Run, you must pray to it. And I mean full stop. You need to start chanting in high Gothic. You need to burn incense. You need to sit on your knees and pray to that car. You need to rub oil on your robes, and you need to go, ahomina, homina, 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 homina. Full stop. If you want your damn thing to work, if you want your gun to fire, you need to do that. They are very bizarre, and they actually have a bit of a point, because it's obviously working. And if you look at them, I don't know how that works. So they obviously know something about what they're doing. The most notable member of the Adeptus Mechanicus is Magos, whatever, Belisarius called. Look at this dude. Look at this dude. Yeah, this is the group we're talking about. These are these weirdos. Here, the Omnissiah Creed. The credo, Omnissiah.
I've heard it both
There
ways.
is no truth in flesh, only betrayal. There is no strength in flesh, only weakness. There is no constancy in flesh, only decay. There is no certainty in flesh, but death.
And
flesh
taxes.
is weakness, flesh is death. The Omnissiah is the god of the machines, and if you wish to be whole, if you wish to be holy, if you wish to give unto him, you must saw down your limbs and remove your organs and replace them with mechanical parts, because that is what he wants, and that is how you will become enlightened.
And immortal.
Hard technophiles mixed with religious extremism. Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, for their army side of things, they are with the Scutari. The Scutari operate with very bizarre weaponry and lots of different kinds of vehicles, tanks, and different people in between. They're very weird, but they have extremely wacky and enjoyable.
That seems to be the theme for this particular section. They're very weird.
And in fact, quite effective both in the real game and in the lore, weaponry and gear. Overall, as an army on the tabletop, they're very weird and have a whole bunch of different shenanigans. But if you like kind of that quirky, wacky tech,
I'm gonna drink every time he says they're very weird, so let's go. We just got 2. You can play with me if you want. Let's drink every time he says weird.
thing, I'd give them a pickup. Hell, they're so paranoid. I gotta keep going. They're so paranoid and crazy. These Dune Striders you see right here, one guy was able to make them work. One guy, and he died. And they're so scared they'll never work again that they keep them on and they never turn them off, and they run around in a circle the whole time until they need them, and then they corral it and they go into battle. Yep. The Adeptus Mechanicus. Now, if you want to talk about faith, though, let's talk about the Sisters of Battle.
A simp has fallen for an
Okay.
angel in Lego City.
Let's talk about them.
The Sisters of Battle of the Adeptus Sororitas, if that's how I pronounce it
Adepta.
correctly, is an all-female group of battle sisters going through the ecclesiarchy section.
Okay, so Valkyries. I love it. I'm there. I'm so there for this.
Of the Imperium. The ecclesiarchy is, of course, the church. This is, imagine a private army of the church, which is scary, and it is. The sisters are an extremely zealotous force, and they take this to a full extreme. They believe in 3 main things: faith, martyrdom, and fire. Through the bolter, the flamer, and the melta, the Sisters of Battle are extremely potent at taking out chaos and heretics. Mainly heretics, because as they are a fighting section of the ecclesiarchy church, that's the big thing they want to kill. Any form of heretic will face the Emperor's justice through those 3 main weapons: the bolter, the flamer, and the melta, and they will do so with extreme prejudice. Literally. They are the closest things we have to nuns in space. And I'm talking hardcore nuns.
Yikes.
They carry holy fire on their backs. They have holy books and sigils all across their armor. Their main battle tank is a fucking pipe organ missile launcher. They have small babies.
I remember someone even mentioned that in the freaking comments, and I got really excited about it because I was like, that's the coolest thing I've ever been heard of. Oh, I forgot that someone had actually mentioned that, and that this is what it was from. I'm sorry. Oh, that's cool though. Oh, that's excellent. I adore that. The missile launcher pipe organ is so effing cool.
Their armor. Their main battle tank is a fucking pipe organ missile launcher. They have small babies that they have removed their brain capacity to make them little servant cherubs to fly around and give them ammunition and
Yikes.
shit.
That's terrifying.
They drop churches from low orbit as mini drop pods onto battles. They drop churches into battles, and they blare war hymns and holy music from their frigates in low atmosphere and shower holy water across the battlefield. These are the people you are dealing with, and they're fucking awesome.
Yeah.
They can literally stave off demons on the tabletop because their faith is that strong. Remember the warp, the demons from the warp? Well, the warp also manifests in your mind. All of your emotions, negative and positive, go through the warp. It's the immaterium, the place of all things.
I love
So
this
if
just like
you are
eyes
that
and stuff in there.
mentally fortified, that mentally strong, you can stave off horrifying demons. And all these girls, oh, not a crack in that mental armor. Now, as much as a meme as they are, and as much as their models look a lot like Ongo Gabloglian, yeah, which I can't unsee anymore, I gotta say,
Also like an old Edna mode.
I love their design. I think they're extremely cool. They're another army that I'm currently collecting. They just released a whole new line of figures very recently, and they look wonderful. Everything from Celestine, the living, literally undying saint, from the triumph of Saint Catherine, which is literally a funeral procession as a model, those organ tanks I mentioned earlier. This shit is the most over-the-top badassery in a lot of the Warhammer universe, and goddamn it, is it over the top. But Sisters of Battle are so cool. While I'm a guardsman at heart, oh, this is such a cool faction. By Bolter Shell, Flamer Burst, and Melta Blast, the mutant, the heretic, and the traitor alike are cleansed of their sin of existence. So it has been for 5 millennia, so shall it be until the end of time. And speaking of burning demons,
I can see!
the Grey Knights are the first army I actually collected back in 7th edition. The Grey Knights are a super secretive and much more old school look at power armored knights. Except
cool.
they are all psychers. All of them have that crazy space magic magician shit. For every 100,000 guardsmen, there's one Grey Knight. For every 10,000 Sisters of Battle, there's one Grey Knight. For every 1,000 Space Marines, there's one Grey Knight. Grey Knights are the strongest of the strong, both in mental will and absolute just strength. These are Space Marines that are all high-level psychers, all of them able to specifically do one goal, and that is kill demons. The Emperor believed that the demons of chaos were the #1 threat to the Imperium, and he probably is right. However, this group is entirely based on doing that through a myriad of tactics. Coming from the planet, or I guess the moon, of Titan in the Sol system, the Grey Knights are thrown through extremely rigorous training and are as clear of mind and soul as they possibly can be. Since the demons of the warp are the warp and your mind projects to the warp, people can go insane very fast, especially lower level psychers. These Grey Knights need to be able to harness the warp in the presence of demons and stay perfectly sane. One of their characters, one of my favorite characters, is named Castellan Crow. He has a demon blade, the black blade of Mahamahama, and he has to have it on him because it tempts everyone nearby, constantly beckoning them. Use my power, use my strength, suck my penis, whatever the possibility. And so he has to keep it on him all the time as this thing whispers to him consistently, and he has to stave it off forever, being alone in his chambers or on the battlefield, because anyone who gets too close to it might be tempted a little too hard.
Wow.
He is that pure of heart and mind, and all the characters in the Grey Knights are basically like that. The only issue is that the Grey Knights have a scorched earth policy, more ways than one. If they're fighting demons, demons corrupt and make people crazy. So if I'm a guardsman and I'm fighting demons, and the Grey Knights arrive, and they kill all the demons,
they're going to kill all the people too, because the demons were around. Is that kind of the gist here? Yikes.
I'm a risk And so guess who's not making it out of there? On the tabletop, they're very strike fast, strike hard kind of people. They teleport all around the place. They are fast strike groups, small amounts of models because they're so dang strong. You only have so many characters, but with it, you get in there, you're very tough, very tanky, you hit really hard, and you try to bounce around the battlefield quickly, but you don't have numbers, and so every dead Grey Knight hits really damn hard. They're fun, though, if you like that kind of fast-striking kind of army. Oh, and also, Caldor Drago is a thing. We're not even going to get into Caldor Drago. All right, that is, oh my goodness gracious. I am the hammer. I am the mail about his fist. I am the spear in his hand. Though we are lost, I am the shield on his arm. I am the flight of his arrows. I am the hammer. I am the sword. I am the shield. I am a soldier at the battle at the end of time. Grey Knights are pretty hardcore. They are as holy as you can get for a Space Marine. If you like Space Marines and you don't think they're holy enough, you want to be holier? Grey Knights.
Be a Grey Knight.
If you want to be holier and big, let's talk Imperial Knights.
Okay, let's talk Imperial Knights.
Do you like gigantic walkers the size of homes?
Yes.
Or medium-sized buildings?
Yes.
Do you want to?
That's why I enjoyed Pacific Rim. I know a lot of people didn't enjoy Pacific Rim, but I knew that that movie was going to be about giant mechs fighting giant monsters, and that is what I got from that movie, and that is what I wanted from that movie. I adore the giant, massive mech just wrecking shit. I love that.
Kill heretics, but you want to kill like 40 of them
Yes.
per turn?
Let's go.
Do you want a gigantic old school knight noble house style of walkers with giant chainsaw arms? Then you got Imperial Knights. Imperial Knights, it's not a whole lot to talk about them because they're just gigantic walkers, but they have this old school like house feel to them. Like
They
literally
look cool.
they're houses. Each Imperial Knight comes from a house, and each of them act in their own special way. These behemoth of walkers also destroy almost everything in their path, killing full swaths of squads in a couple shots, stepping on legions of troops. Like, these things do not mess around, and they look so cool. Imperial Knights and Chaos Knights, actually, for that matter, don't have a whole lot to discuss. They're just super big, heavy walkers, and they look different depending on your house or chaos god you currently believe in. And overall, these things are just really cool if you want to murder everything in your path. They're the big, scary, big unit of Warhammer, and if you want to collect them, go to town. They make for a great painting project, too. Getting more back down to earth, let's talk something about a little bit different, a little more gold.
Adeptus
If
Custos.
guardsmen are regular soldiers, Space Marines are super soldiers, Grey Knights are super soldiers, the Adeptus Custodes are super soldiers cubed. The Adeptus Custodes are the third major army I own. I know, 3 armies. I know, I got carried away, okay, but that's all. I only have 3.
That's fine.
Okay? They are our final brand of Space Marines, but these ones are super special. Okay, if a guardsman is 6 foot, a Space Marine is 7 feet, a custodian is 8 feet. These are the giant defenders of Holy Terra, which is also Earth. Earth is Terra. Earth is Terra. Themselves. These are the people that literally guard the Emperor's throne room, hence Custodes. These boys protect the Emperor's throne room at all times and are literally like handcrafted people. They're not humans brought up by a gene seer or something. These are all handcrafted super soldiers.
Oh, wow.
I think from a tube. These behemoth of men are like 8 feet, 8.5 feet tall, and functionally immortal. They stand still, spear in hand, for hundreds of years without the need to sleep and barely even the need to eat, watching over the throne room and every other area of Holy Terra for their entire purpose in life. And oh my lord, are they terrifying. These custodians put Space Marines to shame.
Oh, wow.
If you liked your super soldiers, these are your super mega soldiers. One of these men can take on probably 3 Space Marines and most likely win. There are many different groups of custodians as well, like the Solar Watch or there's also one of my personal favorite, the Aquilin Shield. The Aquilin Shield go out to seemingly unimportant individuals and protect them because they believe that they are going to be doing something very important in their lives. For instance, let's say a regular guardsman gets the protection of this giant 8.5-foot tall golden god because that guardsman will end up becoming a general one day or something of that nature. The custodians
How do they know
work
that?
in mysterious ways and are almost always outnumbered but never outmatched. These people are pretty horrifying, both on the tabletop as well as in the lore. There are very few of them, however, and there's actually an extremely small amount of them. But that's kind of the point. There's only so many of these people that can have war gear this strong, weapons this powerful, and training this good. And the custodians have all three of it. For 100 years, I stood my watch amidst the somber shadows of the Sanctum Imperialis. I was still as a statue, but always ready. Always attuned to dangers unseen. Days, months, years passed by in a frenzied blur beyond those walls, yet within little moved and nothing changed. For 100 years I did not but wait, yet had any threat appeared I would have struck it down in a heartbeat. For 100 years I stood my watch, and as it ends I can tell you this: patience is a weapon. The custodians are the top dogs of the Imperium, and they hurt just that same way. Though I do want to discuss a little bit about the Sisters of Silence before we get out of here, because the Sisters of Silence I also have a few of, and they're really fun, but they don't get enough attention. These kind of bald plume ladies.
I just keep wanting to call it a phoenix tail because of Avatar, honestly. That's the first thing I thought. I was like, oh, Zuko.
Are a whole group of pariahs, or also known as blanks. We'll be referring to them as blanks from now on. So as every mind is somewhat connected to the warp, these blanks are a genetic mutation that has it suppressed heavily. Because of that mind suppression, normal people feel this weird, like, uncomfortable nature when around them. When a Sister of Silence walks past them, you feel ill. You feel just uncomfortable and strange. So most of them don't actually live past childhood, because once they are birthed, they're, well, you know, killed or something at a very young age because they just emit a horrifying aura. These ladies, however, are guardians of the throne as well for more psychic threats. See, none of the custodians are psychers, so they have a difficult time dealing with major demons and other kinds of psychic phenomena. These sisters are extremely specialized in it, all of them taking a vow of silence as they don't speak, hence the term Sisters of Silence, but they communicate through hand gestures and things of that nature. But if there's a demon issue, if there's any kind of warp-based problem, the sisters are extremely adept at dealing with them, thanks to their blank gene. They normally work a lot of time with the custodians because they have to deal with both kinds of threats, but they're not represented that way on the tabletop. In fact, they only have like one real model for them. It's very unfortunate. I hope they'll get some like news soon, because I think they should really be working together as it is that way in the lore, but hopefully we'll get there soon. But if we're talking about blanks, let's talk assassins.
All right, so we're gonna again pause here because we have a part 3 of this video. So we will do assassins next because I just feel like, as much as possible, I'm trying to keep things organized, I suppose. So we'll talk about assassins next time. This time, that was some cool stuff. Like, I really like the sisters, and I liked the battle nuns, obviously. And the giant houses, like the house, basically. Okay, so far all of them have been pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I still am, okay, I have no idea how tabletop games like that work. I know-ish how D&D works, but only really from a internet perspective. I've never actually gotten a chance to play it around a table with miniatures or with any of that kind of thing. So like he keeps talking about like the minis and the models and stuff, and I'm thinking it's similar to Risk. That's as close as I think I can get to it, because again, all of my tabletop RPG games have been conducted over a computer because I started playing that kind of thing during the pandemic. So I have never gotten a chance to play it for real, and my current DM lives in Seattle and I don't. So in any case, I would like to understand a little bit more about the tabletop. He's not really talking too much about that. Maybe he does that in part 2. I'm not sure. I'm also really sorry. All of my drinking game ideas seem to like go out the window immediately after I come up with them. I definitely thought he was going to say things were weird a little bit more often, but oh well, it's fine. Maybe y'all got 2 drinks out of that. We'll try and figure out some more in the future. I know that we sometimes play the when Lauren says something stupid game. Like, that's when you drink. So we can just keep making that be a thing. But in any case, thank you so much for coming with me on this journey. I'm having a good time learning about all of this stuff. And again, I feel like maybe you should drink every time I say something's really cool. Maybe we should drink. Maybe that'll be the thing. I'll start that off with the next one. That'll be the drinking game next time. Every time I say something's really cool, we'll take a drink. Because that seems to be something that I say a lot watching these. In any case, thank you for watching. Make sure that you like, comment, share, subscribe. We really do appreciate it, and I enjoy reading your comments and learning a little bit extra stuff about the lore. Someone told me about the battle nuns a little bit before I saw them here, and I think I said it was cool in the comment that I responded to, and it's still excellent and maybe even cooler in, like, now that I got to see some of the actual video and like see some pictures of it, it's even cooler than I thought it was going to be. So anyway, and also we'd also appreciate you if you decide to become a Patreon supporter, if you have the ability. Again, no judgment, or like, it's fine if you can't. We still just make sure that you're still liking and watching and interacting. We still appreciate that. If you are a Patreon supporter, though, you do get a couple of perks. You get to have some content early. You get to have some content extremely early in some cases. You get to participate in polls. You get to help decide what it is we watch. All sorts of fun stuff that you get to do if you're at Patreon. So with that in mind, let's have a look-see at some of our Patreons here, and I will see you all in the next video to watch part 3 of every single Warhammer Faction Explained, part 1. All right, see you soon.